What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of the Fielder's Choice podcast. My name is Dan Field. I am joined with Matt Giblin, all the way to my right and the viewer's left. And of course, we got in the middle, Miss Angie Santamaro. What is up, guys? How has your week been?
What's up, guys?
Busy. Yours?
Busy. I'm getting a little feedback again from your headphone. Yeah.
Right?
Do you have them over your thing again?
No, I'm good tonight, huh?
Oh, you got it to work.
Yeah, I got it to work.
Oh,
yeah.
sweet. Very nice.
Little
Pre-production.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, it's been
we are getting there.
A hectic week for umpiring.
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys have been busy.
So rainy.
Oh yeah, a lot of
And
makeups.
so cold.
A lot of makeups.
So cold. Like, I
So-
had multiple layers on this one.
Layers.
June 1st, multiple
crazy.
layers.
It's crazy.
Unreal.
I do have a story from one of the games I actually played in my Babel 45 plus team. We played Brett Rudy's team. Actually, we were down 5-1. I think we had like 3 hits the whole game. We go into the last inning, and we put up a 6 spot, and we ended up winning 7-5.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So
Nice. Nice.
Those are good wins.
Sorry, Brett.
Those are fun wins. Yeah. No, you're not.
And yeah, I umped my first Yawkey League game, which was
Double snaps.
pretty cool.
Very
That's
good.
awesome.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Any crazy stories this week
I
from you guys?
didn't kill any more birds. No.
No more birds.
No more birds.
I know the state tournament started. Gotta congratulate Orazio, Azzarello, Medford. I know they won the first round.
Nice.
They moved on. I'm not sure when their second game is, but shout out to Medford Mustangs. Moving on.
That's
Congrats,
awesome.
Raz.
Yeah.
And, you know, as Matt knows, Gib, I live literally right by the Winchester High School field, so I heard a lot of, I can basically hear the whole game, from my
They played
apartment.
Friday. I believe they won. They played Beverly. They were up 6-3, I know, in late innings. I think
yeah?
they held on to win.
Yeah,
Not sure.
It's getting pretty loud over there, so.
A lot of senior
a good
nights.
game.
Graduations are either happening, coming, or have already happened. So a lot of kids, a lot of
Yep.
excitement. It's awesome.
Yep. My
Good times.
oldest nephew is graduating. I'm going to that next week.
Awesome. Congrats.
Exciting.
Yes, congrats, but it just means that I'm getting older. We're getting older. It's crazy. Yeah.
Such is life.
Yeah, that is right.
True story.
A lot of kids graduating.
I got some seniors graduating on Monday. They're graduating at Tufts from Somerville High. We're no longer doing it at Dilboy anymore, which is very weird for me since I also graduated from Somerville High and this is a new thing. So, but
that's funny.
it's
I drove by. Go ahead.
go ahead. I was gonna say it's my first round of students that I've worked with graduating. So some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
So, but talking about feeling
Yeah.
old.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good achievements though, you know. You put in a lot of
Mhm.
work. A lot of these kids put in a lot of work.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It needs to be celebrated.
Yep.
So
And-
congrats.
Well, and being an adjustment counselor and not a teacher, it's like I'm double proud of them because I only work with kids who have stuff. So watching them graduate, it's like bring on the waterworks for me.
As you know, Beth works up at Lawrence High. She said they graduated a record number of kids up there this year, but
I hear such wonderful things about Lawrence High, so that's awesome to hear.
some great kids, some good, very good athletes from up there too, dude, playing in the Yawkey League, you know. So
Yep, most definitely. Happy Dorchester Day, by the way. So I umped a game in Cleveland Circle. We were just talking. That's where the beat baseball. They used to practice right behind our games. And I was driving back to Quincy because I was cat sitting this weekend, and I saw a bunch of people wearing Dot Day shirts. So apparently it's Dorchester Day today. So shout out to the Dot.
Just something you just said just sparked me. I have to say, and we're having them on, and I can't wait to talk more, but I knew nothing about beat baseball until you mentioned bringing them on to the show. Nothing. So I am not only am I so excited, but had no idea about it.
Yeah. it's pretty wild. It's been around for a little bit now, and what they do, as I've said time and time again, playing baseball is hard enough to do, you know, with your vision. Without that, it's wild. What they do is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of questions for them. Go ahead, Gib.
I was just going to say, regardless of being able to continue to play the game, you know, like we talk about too, they're getting to experience all of these other aspects of being on a team and staying competitive in some way and finding people like-minded, you know, like that we all gravitate towards too. It'll be interesting to hear their perspective of what they experience, you know, through this game, you know. So
Definitely. So, yeah, we got Rob Weissman, who's the manager of the Boston Renegades, one of the competitive teams here in Boston. And then we got Shawn Devenish, who is one of the players on the Boston Renegades. And I think it's time to bring in our special guests. What do you guys think?
absolutely.
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show Rob Weissman and Shawn Devenish. Hello, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Welcome,
Oh.
guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Welcome to the show. We appreciate you being on. Beat baseball, yes. Before we go there, if you could please introduce yourselves. Rob, if you want to start first.
Sure. My name's Rob Weissman. I am the head coach and also the starting catcher for Boston Renegades, which is now celebrating its 25th
That's right,
birthday
20.
this year. I've been coaching this team since 2003.
Wow.
Wow.
It's a long time.
Long time.
That is quite the tenure.
Yeah, and I helped start the sport in the New England area back in 2000.
Right, you were saying the Renegades are the first team from Boston. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were the first. So we started a kind of a recreational team in 2000, and then the Renegades kind of got their start in 2000, and I kind of moved from that recreational team to the Renegades full time in 2003. But yes, we were the first competitive team sport for a blind or visually impaired adult in all of New England.
Wow.
When we came on the scene 25 years ago.
Awesome. Shawn, please.
Yeah, I'm Shawn Devenish. I have been with the Renegades since 2016. I'm from Salisbury, Massachusetts, way up on the North Shore. So I love playing the sport. Was an athlete all through high school, and after college, graduated with a degree in physical education. I really was looking for something to do to keep myself moving, and I stumbled upon Beat Baseball online on the Renegade website, and I've loved it ever since.
It's no different from the reasons why any of us got into the game, you know?
No.
Especially you get out of college and you're looking to still play ball or whatever. Yeah, it's no different why me and Danny started playing together, you know, almost 20 years ago. We still do to this day, so.
Now, Shawn, you're partially, I don't want to say it incorrect, but you have partial vision, correct?
I have what's called tunnel vision. So you take your hands and go like this, and it's just like little pinpoints, not pinpoints, but standing at the edge of a tunnel, and it's really, I just see what's directly in front of me, and I see, I have no color vision, so everything is either black or white.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
at nighttime, I can't see anything. So I have what's called night blindness. So, but yeah, the tunnel vision I can sort of read sometimes. But it's just that tunnel vision is really the biggest thing.
And was that your whole life? Or?
Yep, I was diagnosed when I was born with some sort of eye condition. They didn't quite know what it was until I was about 8. And then when I turned 8, they turned it in, diagnosed me with retinitis pigmentosa. It's a inherited retinal disorder that I just got I got the lucky straw and inherited for the rest of my life.
Okay. I mean, I think that was one of the interesting things too. I was reading a little bit more about it. Is that it's not just completely blind people, right? And we'll get to that, but various levels of visual impairments that people play, which is kind of why there are some different things that happen. I don't want to give it all away now, but
Yeah.
which is why there are some other things that happen in the game and for the players.
Yes, we have a very varying level of visual impairment on the team. People who are totally blind. We've had players who had prosthetic eyes.
Wow.
And to me, who's what, technically according to the state of Massachusetts, I'm legally blind, so I don't drive or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, you'd
I
still
do
be
use-
better than most drivers in Massachusetts.
I'd actually pay attention.
Yeah.
But I use a cane. I'd say about 40% of the time. Whereas, if I'm in a familiar space, I don't typically use a cane, and I think that's sometimes a little can be a little. People get a little confused because I'm not using a cane, but I say I'm legally blind. They're like, "Oh, that's it." People don't see it as a spectrum. They see it either you can't see or you can.
Right. And you're also a gym teacher still currently?
Yes, still a
That's
gym
so
teacher.
cool.
Yep,
That's awesome.
In Newburyport, so yeah, I love doing what I do and keep myself active and keep the kids active, which is more important now than ever.
And what age range? Is it elementary, middle, high school?
I do kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade.
Okay, awesome. They're K through 8s up there? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, I'm at a charter school, so it's a little different, but yeah.
And you also played football and track in high school, right?
I played in
incredible.
high school. I played offensive and defensive line, a little bit of tight end because all we did was run because we didn't have a good quarterback. But and then in the winter I wrestled, and then I ran the 800 meters, the 4x1.
Wow.
I threw the shot put and the discus.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah,
What was
that
it
is-
like? What was
wow.
it like growing up, like learning these sports, kind of with it, like, and being impaired to your degree?
My family has always been about sports. I have an older brother. He's 2 years older than me, so obviously we were competing since the day I was born. But and he's 6'5", and he was a very good soccer player and can still dunk to this day basketball. So I moved away from those sports. I went to football and wrestling, but it was always a challenge for me going against people who didn't have to, work as hard as I did just to read the playbook in football, for example. And so I had to really dedicate myself to work hard just to be where everybody else was. And that's something I still take to this day. Just you got to work hard just to get where you need to be.
Yeah, that's well said. I don't know that there's much to be said after that. Yes. But before we start the episode, I just want to say for ourselves and for our listeners, if we do not use the correct terminology, please correct us at any time. We want to make sure that not only is this an experience for people to learn more about beat baseball, but that they learn how to do it respectfully. So if at any time any one of us says the wrong thing, feel free to stop us and let us know the terminology.
I'll let you know.
well said. So Rob, could you just give us like a summary or a rundown of what beat baseball is?
Sure. So beat baseball started in 1976, and it started with a telephone company that actually designed this ball. I'll put it up the right way, the rock. So it's a 16-inch softball that has a speaker on it, so that it makes a noise. I'll play it. And I shut it up. So what happens, and just so the viewers can see if they're looking here, like that's the size difference between a baseball and a softball, just for reference.
So it's a regular softball, like same size as a regulation softball?
This is about the size of a candlepin bowling ball.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it's significant. It's bigger than a normal softball that we would play.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Right? And there's actually a league in Chicago that uses this ball, a version of this, not with the speaker in it. And they don't use gloves, I think, so it works a little bit different. But the bottom line is they found that there was an interest in this in the 70s, and the way the sport works is it's an adaptive form of baseball for the visually impaired. It's all played by sound. So what happens is you could hear the ball, it has a pulsating beep, and our bases have a steady buzz. So kind of the real basics of it is there's 6 players on the field instead of 9. We play 6 innings instead of 9. We have 4 strikes instead of 3. There's no balls. Okay. Then some of the other primary differences, and this is kind of where things come in from a sighted help perspective. The pitcher and the catcher are on the same team as the hitter. Okay, it's not hard to strike out somebody that can't see. So what they're trying to do is work together as a team to put the ball in play. So when you have a pitcher with a lot of strikeouts in this sport, that is not a good thing. You want to have pitchers have a small amount of strikeouts. A perfect game in our sport is 0 strikeouts, and my team's done that once in over 300 games in our history.
Wow.
And we lost, by the way. All right. So what happens is the pitcher and the hitter and the catcher are working together, put the ball in play. And the best pitchers in the league will put the ball in play between 95% and 80% of the time. Okay. When the ball is put into play, it becomes a race. If the runner can get to the base before the fielders can show possession, I'll explain possession in a second, it's a run. If the fielders show possession before the runner gets to the base, it's an out. Okay. Possession is off the ground and away from your body. Okay. There's a lot of little intricate rules, just like baseball, not as complicated as baseball. There's a couple other things that happens. There are 2 lines on the field. Actually, hold on, let me go back to the bases. The bases are 100 feet instead of 90 feet. The bases are also 10 feet in foul territory. There's no second base. So if you get to the base before the defense shows possession, it's a run. As a hitter, you don't know which base you're going to run to. What happens is there's an umpire that flicks a switch, and just before you make contact, one of the bases goes off randomly. Okay, so you don't know which one. And as a sighted person, or even someone who's visually impaired now that might have played baseball in the past, running to third takes an adjustment. Okay, coming out of the box as a right-handed hitter and going to third takes an adjustment. There are 2 lines in the field. There's a 40-foot line and a 170-foot line. The 40-foot line is called the 40-foot arc. A ball must travel 40 feet in order for it to be fair. Okay, so you can't bunt unless you can drag bunt it to 40 feet. A 170-foot line is a home run. A home run is worth 2 runs. The other main thing that I wanted to say is on the defense, there are 2 sighted people that go out on the defense, and their roles are called either callers or spotters. And their job is to lead the defense, is to make sure that there's safety involved. And they're giving the defense information about the hitter. And when the ball's put into play, they're allowed to say one thing. They're allowed to say a number between 1 and 6. That's it. If they say something else, it's an automatic run for the team, for the offensive team. And that number that they're calling 1 through 6 is helping them understand, helping the players, and every team does it a little different, but it might tell them where on the field it's hit, and it might tell them how deep it or how hard it's been hit. So we can tell them different information by the number, and then the tone of our voice we can use to help give them other information. And then they got to go get it. It's a race. And I will tell you, the offensive side is the fun, sexy part of the game. Everyone wants to get it. The defensive side, it takes a time. It really takes an effort to learn how to do it. This isn't like Little League, where all of us, had an opportunity to play Little League or softball, and as adults, we're coming back to the game. Like a lot of these guys didn't have the chance to play it as little kids, so they're learning how to do this for the first time. That's the gist of the sport.
And they don't use gloves. There's no gloves. It's all with their...
Some guys do wear gloves, very few, but there's a percentage of people that do it. It's really hard to catch a ball. Okay, you're wearing. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, I should have mentioned.
Spotters.
All players wear a blindfold. Okay,
Yep.
so Shawn talks about.
I got mine right here.
There you go. There's a blindfold. That's the official blindfold that we're supposed to be wearing now. So
I wore it to practice today. It stinks.
What's the reason?
This is because everybody has a varying degree of blindness, right? So this is so that everybody is completely unable to see.
See, Angie, you know more than you think.
Right, and then even somebody, one funny thing is, there was a player once that was accused of, not on my team, but there was a player that was accused of cheating by an umpire, and this player turned around and took out his eyes and gave them to the umpire.
Okay, that's almost worse than the bird.
It didn't happen on my team. Prosthetic, that was the word I was looking for, the prosthetic eyes. Yeah,
I would love to see the look on that umpire.
Oh my. Have you ever seen, and not to go in a different direction for a second, but there's a woman on TikTok, and she has prosthetic eyes, and one of them is like a disco ball. I just was thinking if somebody had a baseball, that would be pretty awesome. But that was just me. That was my own ADHD taking a left turn. Sorry.
That's a
We
good
can come
idea.
back now.
But so Rob, there's also spotters, and those are people that help volunteers.
Those are the two guys on the defense, what I call callers or spotters. They're the ones calling the numbers.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
they're they're the eyes for the defense, right? So beyond calling the numbers, like you guys can imagine, right? What we'll do is most teams will paint spots on the field so that a player can start to get a feel for where their position is in relation to the line and where their position is in relation to other positions, so that they can try to stay in their lanes and be able to be aggressive after the ball with trust of their teammates not coming into their zones. So the spotters are setting the players on those spots between different plays. They're telling the defense, is it a right-handed hitter, a left-handed hitter? This guy can run, this guy can't run, this guy can hit fly balls, this guy can grounders. They're giving all that type of information. Well, the better teams are giving that type of information to their players to help them know what's coming and prepare.
So,
Hey,
Rob,
go ahead.
your team is made up of 6 blind to partially blind players, and how many, including the pitcher, catcher, spotters, sighted players?
So, all right. So my roster has close to 40 people on it.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So we have close to 40 people on the roster, and it's about an even split between players and coaches. I actually just signed my 21st player today.
Hey.
So we have 21 players and about 23 coaches ish, something like that. But as far as like filling out the lineup card, it's, well, you can put 7 players in because we have a designated hitter. So you can turn around and have you have someone who can hit well, and you have someone that might field better. You can say, this guy's my DH, and this guy's my DF for the designated fielder. So I can have a maximum of 7 guys in the lineup. From a sighted perspective in a game, it's 2 spotters on the field, a pitcher and a catcher. And then we'll have hitting coaches and base running coaches and defensive coaches and backup spotters and backup pitchers and all that type of stuff. So it's just like having a normal baseball team. And one interesting other thing, just as a manager, that and I don't, depending on the baseball league that you're in, we have a re-entry rule. So I can pull you out and put you back in as long as you've been out for a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm. And so do you guys, do you hold tryouts, or do people kind of just get in touch and say, hey, I want to play? And then how does that part work?
Yeah, we don't really hold tryouts. We've been here for 25 years, and we've always wanted to just give people an opportunity. And we weren't very good for many years. We're the only team in the history of the sport to go from being the worst team in the league to making a championship game. And we're proud of that because it takes
Hell
time.
yeah.
I mean,
Hell yeah.
Sean was here. Like it was all Sean when he joined the team.
It was my rookie year.
He hasn't been back since, but
That's almost just as bad, right? You start the bar way up high.
yeah, we're trying to get back, but we haven't made it back. We come close, but so we don't cut people. As long as people are good people, they follow the code of conduct, they're not jerks, they treat people with respect, we find a role for them, right? So if you can hit but you can't field, we'll DH you, or we'll pinch hit you, or we'll do different things. If you can field and can't hit, do the opposite, and the league has such a wide variety of skills. So sometimes certain players will play against the top teams and certain players will play against the bottom teams, and we try to get everyone into games and give them opportunity to succeed.
So when you talk about the championship game, you're part of a national. There's like a national beat baseball league, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. It's called the NBBA,
NBBA. National
Beat Baseball Association. And this year, sadly, there are only 18 teams going to the World Series. It'll be in, they say St. Louis, but we lost our field, so we're in Southern Illinois, but the hotels are in St. Louis, so they'll call it St. Louis. And it'll be a week-long event in July. And we can actually call it a World Series. There'll be 17 teams in the United States and one very good team coming from Taiwan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
So
what
do
do you
you-
have to
Wow.
do to qualify for
Exactly.
it?
Yeah. I was just gonna ask
You
that.
gotta- the way the, what you got to do to qualify for it is have money to get your team there. That's it. That's pretty much it. Have money and a roster, and that's fine. And they'll what'll happen is they'll put everyone that we seed all the teams. There'll be pool
Mhm.
play, and then it goes into a double elimination bracket. And then when the double elimination bracket is over, everyone goes into pool, what we call seeding pools. So all the teams that went 0-2 will face each other. All the teams that went 1-2 will face each other. That type of thing. So you
It's
eventually get to play the same level of opponents.
And you're right. Make no mistake. It's fine if you want to put out the money, but you're going there to win. So that's what's fine about it, right? I totally respect that.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I mean, everyone's going to win, but the definition of winning is different. Some of these teams, they don't have. In reality, they shouldn't have the hopes of winning the World Series. Some of
So
these teams, and we were one of them for many years.
are
For
some of
many
the
years, it was like, hey, our goal is 10th place. Right? Let's just get better every year. Like, let's just, and we did. We slowly got better every year until
and
last year.
are some teams going? Are the some of the same teams going every year?
Yeah, it's usually it's pretty much the same teams. There is no brand new team going this year. So it's a hard sport to get started. It really is, and there's some challenges around with the league and the sport, but it's a really hard sport to get started. And sadly, for example, one of the teams, they're from California, and I've heard through the rumor mill that some of their volunteers' houses burned down in the fires out there. Right,
Oh,
so
wow.
you can't play the sport if you don't have volunteers. You need money, and you need volunteers and players. You need that whole circle.
So I was just gonna ask,
Some of their
where
players are latching on with another team that needs bodies. So that there's just some things that happen like that.
so the money, does that just come from donations, or where
Yeah,
is that?
we apply for grants. We get them out of pocket. A lot of our players are working and have jobs and would rather pay out of pocket. Some of our players aren't working, and the donations go to help some of those players that are less fortunate. Sponsorships, things like that. We've come a long way. We used to sit outside the supermarkets and beg, selling candy bars,
Yeah.
and ring the bell. We've been a little bit more sophisticated since then, but yeah, I mean, Super Bowl squares, things like that, to try to raise money for the team.
I'd have a hard time not eating the profits.
Dan would owe a lot of money. He eats like a teenage boy.
Pretty much.
Whenever I see him, he's got like a pocket full of like some sort of like Sour Patch Kid and a Pepsi.
Yep, that's me.
It's all right.
So how hard is it to get funding, besides selling candy at the?
It's hard.
It's
I
hard,
mean,
yeah.
it's hard. I mean, look, one of the things, at least in our organization, every organization is a little different. Our organization, everyone's a volunteer. We don't drop paychecks, right? So, we have families and children, and I don't, but a lot of my coaches have children and wives. I have one of those. We have jobs, so we have jobs, and so it becomes, for me, it's a second full-time job. To keep this running with that size of a roster and what we need to be able to do. Our budget this year is about $30,000, and
Wow.
that's about an annual thing. So it's a little bit of a chore to raise that type of money every year.
Yeah.
We're thankful to all the sponsors and groups that have helped us over the years.
So
And would you say that that's an average cost is around $30,000 in order
Or
to
more.
really?
It really comes down to travel, where you're going to go. Like, there's a team in Indianapolis. Like, every time there's a tournament in the country, they go to it. They flew out to Vegas in March for a tournament. They were in Oklahoma for a tournament. They're having a tournament this week in Indianapolis. Next week they're in Chicago. So, like, you take a team like that, every trip they go on is costing them thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then there are some teams that like, take the team I mentioned in California. Historically speaking, there's no other teams on the West Coast. So the only expense they have other than equipment and local stuff is coming to the World Series. So there's a variety of different levels of travel that every team does.
Now,
And
if
Rob,
someone,
go ahead, Dave.
no, I was just gonna say, if someone wants to donate, they can do that on your website, right? It's blindcitizens.org/renegades/fundraising.
There you go. So
There it is.
donate. We would, that ball that I showed you guys here, this ball here, this is $40 a ball. In fact,
Wow.
today at practice, I turned around to my coaches and I said, guys, in the last 2 practices, we've broken 9 balls.
Wow.
And like 7 of those balls lasted less than 15 minutes.
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
Yeah.
So it can get expensive. And so I had to go over, guys, this is how you hit a ball, right? We can't hit the ball here. If you hit the ball here, you break it. If you hit the ball here, you break it. So you got to be skilled at hitting it and, making sure you're hitting it in the sweet spot over here so that you don't break it. So yeah, there's a big equipment problem in the league right now, for sure. And that's one of the barriers of entry for new teams.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I thought the baseballs in our leagues were expensive. That's crazy.
I don't want to know what your tariffs are.
Gib, were you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, like, for being as involved with it as long as you have, Rob, like, what's the inspiration behind it? Because me and Dee have taken our shots managing over the years, and it can be a thankless job at times. You're gone for X amount of time away from the family and stuff. You're picking up fees for permits, taking care of umpires. You're making sure fields are playable. There's a lot of love and just willingness to help people that's going into this, right? So what's keeping you motivated to keep doing this?
It's guys like Shawn, honestly. Like, we have such a great group of guys now that love playing the game and love to get better and love to try new things. And that's really it. I mean, if I had a bunch of drama queens on the team, I'd be out. Like, they couldn't handle it. And it's just the support that they give each other on the field and the culture that we've built as an organization over the 25 years and just seeing where we've come and where we are, it's awesome. So, being able to, bring new people into the team and watch their lives change in some cases is awesome. We had a player last year, a year and a half ago, he joined us and he had just lost his vision at the time we met him. His name's Tyler, right? So Tyler found us like 9 months into his vision loss. And within that 9 months, not only did he lose his vision, he lost his dad, and he was only in his early 20s. So he's going through a lot, right? And we found him, and he was a scrawny guy. But I heard that he was an athlete. And so we gave him a chance. And
he's fast.
He was slow to kind of come along, really quiet. And then ultimately last year, you could see things are starting to click for him. But not just on the field, like the relationships that he's building with the guys. And now this offseason, he comes in and he's jacked. And I'm like, whoa, is this the same guy? He's like, I have a reason to work out now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to do better. I don't like how we finished last year. Last year was disappointing. I want to do better. And now he's all in. And, and it's just not on the field, off the field, right? A lot of people have their own health journeys, and whether you're having it, you have a loved one, most likely we all have a loved one who's got a health journey. And, I got my own, and I'm a big believer that if you can surround yourself with people who are going through the same journey of you, you can change your life. Just learn things from it. And I love hearing those stories, players working with each other to improve their skills that then triples their salary at work, or players talking to each other and learning how to get food stamps and how to navigate the housing system. So all of that stuff is heartwarming, and that's why I do it, man. That's it. I mean, all of those.
So who's Pokey?
And it's being in the game. I love being a part of the game, and it's such a cool part. We get some really cool things that we get to do, which is always fun. So yeah.
So who's Pokey? Is that Rob or Shawn? Aaron and Christine
Neither
says.
of us.
Oh.
It's one of the fans.
Oh, well, she said hi, Pokey.
I thought maybe one of you had a nickname.
No, definitely not.
But not one I'm aware of.
You might have one you're not aware of.
Yeah.
I did, Shawn, I did want to ask a question actually specifically to you. So you said, you finished up college kind of feeling like, your career as an athlete was possibly kind of done, like what was going to happen. You found the Renegades.
Mm-hmm.
What has that been like for you as an athlete to have found this kind of, as you know, as Rob has been talking about, but from the athlete side, what is that like for you?
It was really incredible. I went from, like I said earlier, playing against fully sighted athletes and really working hard to just keep up with them. Whereas when I got to the Renegades, we were all on the playing field was leveled. So I was like, okay, I can put more of my energy not just into keeping up, but trying to just be better with the team and really get better and hone my own skills. And as an athlete, when you have that sort of confidence builder where you're like, okay, everyone's on the same level here. We'll just keep working and keep working and keep working. And it really improved my life, not only just on the field, being an athlete and having a lot of success is, a lot of the great friends I've made on this team. I mean, we have text groups left and right here. And like Rob said, it did give me confidence to really pursue what I really wanted to do in education. I was working as just an instructional assistant, and I was like, no, I want to be a full-time PE teacher. And
That's
being
awesome.
on the Renegades
Wow.
just really made me push through some barriers I thought were there. And having teammates that, like Rob said, that went through this sort of a similar thing, I can really work through it. And even some of our sighted coaches work in education and gave me some advice that I used to get a better job. So just the quality of life for me has improved greatly since joining the Renegades.
And when you tell people you play baseball, do you explain it or just walk away? Because I feel like if I was you, I'd just walk away.
A little bit of both.
Just like
a little bit of both.
Let them figure it out.
Yeah, they'll figure it out. All the kids at school love it. They, we get T-shirts from our tournaments all the time, and I wear those to school. And kids are like, "Oh, what's that?" And I get to explain it, and then, they want to talk about it and all that stuff. So.
I was just going to say, sorry. And again, I'm going to go off left for a second. As an educator myself, the kind of adapted curriculum in gym is something that isn't widely, I think, utilized correctly, or it's not able to be kept up. So when you're teaching your students, I mean, I imagine not only do you have kind of firsthand knowledge, but do you teach them beep baseball in gym?
It can be a bit of a health risk just because the ball, you saw the size of it, and it does weigh a pound. It's
that was
heavy.
Not mentioned. I did not know that. Yeah, that would be a little.
And with the kids, I'd be a little afraid to throw a big pound ball at them.
Yeah.
So I've done it before. I used to work at a high school, and I did it there. But with the little ones, I'll try it with the middle schoolers, I think. But there's some health risks that I'm a little worried about. But I brought a ball.
Liability is a real thing. No, I get it.
It is. And I brought a ball and let them try picking it up without looking. It's kind of fun. And we even have kids who play baseball, and I'm like, all right, now let's wrap this around your eyes. Now swing. And it's amazing how quickly their swings change.
Wow. Yeah.
And shout out to these volunteer pitchers. They're literally like 10 feet away. They don't wear any protection.
21 feet away, right? Right, Rob?
Yeah, they're 21. All right, so the pitcher's mound is 21 feet 6 inches to the back of home plate. All right, our players stand as far up in the batter's box as they possibly can, and by the time the pitcher releases the ball, where the hitter is, they're probably like 15 feet away. Yeah. Okay, and I was actually I'm fourth string. So I was pitching yesterday at an event where we were just doing kind of fun stuff. And yeah, I mean, we joke, some of the pitchers have this joke. There's two types of pitchers in this sport. There's those who've been hit in the nuts and those who will get hit in the nuts. I'm still in the I haven't yet, but I'm cupped up waiting for it. But,
sounds like you need more women. That's all I'm going to say.
We have some women pitchers in the league.
Okay.
I know there's a women pitcher that pitches in Austin, and then there's a women pitcher that pitches for an all-women's team called the Sirens.
I love
they
it.
used to be the St. Louis Sirens, but now I think they don't have I think they're
just
like
the Sirens.
Right? Yeah. They don't have a home. They're pulling women from all over the country to play for them. So
our team is also co-ed.
And Dan, you mentioned the dumb ones don't wear face masks.
Yeah,
or the brave ones. It's kind of like hockey. And hockey started enforcing the helmets. the veterans didn't do it. So the real veterans typically don't wear the face mask,
right.
but a lot of the newer ones will wear face masks.
But they all wear a cup, so we know what's going on.
You guys do, yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So you guys have been on a number of local news outlets, and I wanted to share this video. I won't play the whole thing, but just to give people an idea of what beat baseball is. So this was from CBS News, I think Channel 4. Take a look.
It is the season for America's favorite pastime. That's baseball, of course. And there's an inspiring group of local athletes who believe everyone should get the chance to hit it out of the park. Tonight, WBZ's Logan Hall introduces us to Beep Baseball, a way for the visually challenged to experience the love of the game.
From a distance, this might just seem like another softball practice, but get closer and you'll see something extraordinary. Blindfolds, beeping balls and bases, and a team powered by grit, heart, and an unwavering spirit.
This is my 13th season now playing here, and it's hard to turn it down. Every summer it's just like, yep, I want to get back out there with the guys.
This is Beep Baseball, a reimagined version of America's pastime for the blind. And for Joe McCormick, a star player with the Boston Renegades, it's a chance to reignite the fire of competition.
From the first contact on the bat, I was like, oh, this is my future.
Joe's journey began with a loss. During his senior year of high school, he began losing his vision to a rare condition called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. But as life shifted, so did Joe's determination. In 2012, while at Harvard University, he discovered the world of beep baseball. Since then, he hasn't looked back. And it's that very resilience that fuels head coach Rob Weissman, who's been with the team for several years.
Some of the things that they've been through and the way they've handled it is truly amazing, and something that I wish that I could do, and I draw from them.
To Rob, this is more than just coaching. It's about helping others push their limits and show the world what they're capable of.
So yeah, this is 30 more seconds, but yeah, I just want to. I mean, the picture right there almost took one off the face. Exactly what I'm talking about. How close they are.
That picture's my nephew, and he's been part of this team. His mom got him involved when he was like 12 years old. Now he's in his mid-20s, and he actually plays in the Metro West Baseball League. He's a catcher.
That's the league.
Rob Weissman, and
that's right.
He plays
that's right.
Phoenix.
I knew there was a connection there, and I forgot because when we were going to do that event at Fenway, I remember Hunter was going to do it with us.
Yeah. So
I completely forgot about that connection
to the league. That's why we're here. We're hoping to make more of a connection because we think there's such great synergy, and we think that there would be such a great collaboration.
So we actually have umpired his games, or they may have umpired his games. Because I think he also played in the 18 plus.
Yeah, that's where he has the 18 plus Phoenix.
Yeah, I actually umped them today. I don't think he was there.
Well, he just had surgery, so he wasn't there this week. But if you are umping behind the plate, he'll be behind the dish.
He's a catcher, right? Has surgery.
So I don't know if I missed this and you said this already, and I apologize, but you said you play 6 innings, not 9, right? And then how many outs per inning?
Three.
Three outs, 3 outs and then four strikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the offensive player can also do a take, which is where you just let the ball pass you, and it's just an opportunity either find timing with your pitcher or.
Okay.
Or in my case, I only use them when I hit long foul balls and have to run the whole base and then come back.
And then how long is how long is an average game?
It's really dependent. Okay? It's dependent on who the two teams that are playing, and the other thing it's very dependent on is the grass. So if you play on a really thick grass, right? So last year we went to the World Series and we won a game 3-2. And it was just because if you're not hitting it well, it doesn't go anywhere in a thick grass. Where a couple of years ago we played a game and we won 26-23.
That game was so long,
right? And that was a 4-hour game. So you're playing a 4-hour. When you're playing on these fields like in Oklahoma or an area that's got droughts and the grass is cut really short. Even the weakest hits can roll and roll and roll. But when you're playing on thick grass, the weak hits get gobbled up by what we call garbage men, picking up the trash up front. So the
guys laying down there.
So you're going to see anything from like an hour and 40 minutes or so, but it can go all the way up to 4 hours depending on the conditions.
So you guys were supposed to have an event at Fenway that me and Brett Rudy we were gonna do the live stream, and unfortunately got canceled due to rain. Is that gonna happen this year? Are they gonna reschedule it?
That video that got shot, we had members of the Red Sox there that day, and they told us it's not off the table. You know, there was some kind of change in, I guess, leadership there, and they're still trying to get it done, and so it's not off the table for this year. There's still a chance that something could happen in the fall. We're going to actually be on the field Tuesday night at Fenway. It's Disability Awareness Day, so they're going to have us out there. So we'll have about 10 of the Renegades out holding the American flag before the game. So we'll find out. My hope is that it happens this fall. If not, it'll hopefully happen in the future.
Yeah, and
That'd be great.
I think we mentioned this is your 25th, the 25th anniversary, right, of the Boston Renegades.
25.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Wow.
I didn't have gray hair when I started.
So you've been
Sorry
there all
about that.
25 years.
I'm sorry.
You've been there all 25 for all 25.
I was
close?
in part of it, pretty much part of it for every one of them but 1 year, and then I've been running it since '03. So I was helped a little bit in 2000, a little bit in '01. I was not involved in this team in '02, and then I came back full time in '03.
Wow.
Yeah, so the three of us are umpires. So I'm curious, is that a volunteer job as well?
It is 100% volunteer job. The whole league is volunteer driven. You know, the league's got a board of directors and a president and blah blah blah, and all the umpires are all volunteers. And when we go to the World Series, you know, they're flying in, and there's some financial help that goes there. But yeah, everyone's a volunteer that does it. And you know, I'll give a shout out, like, you know, the league's always looking for umpires as well. It's a hard thing to find.
Yep, especially right now. And
yeah, so it's a hard
and there it
thing
is.
for sure.
yeah, I didn't mean to put this up right now, but since it's up, so the World Series is July 21st to the 27th, like you said, Southern Illinois.
Yeah, and sadly, we lost our Puerto Rico game just recently.
Oh, really?
That's too bad.
Oh, that's too
Yeah,
bad.
one of our players, David Sanchez, is we've been supporting him. He's actually from the same hometown as Alex Cora in Puerto Rico.
Cool.
He's getting a team started down there, and we were going to go down there to help get them up and running, but they are unable to make it happen this year, so we had to postpone it.
Darn.
It takes so much effort to get a team up and running.
It sounds like it does. Yeah.
It really does. Yeah.
Bro, how many guys are coming down to average games? Are you getting like 14 guys like per game ish, and then making a lineup of 6 or 7 every game?
Well, no, I mean, you know, this year we've got, you know, that the World Series, I think we're taking 17 players to the World Series. So, yeah, and so at the World Series, we're there for a week. We'll play somewhere between 7 and 10 games, depending on how we do. And, you know, I'll have to try to get playing time for 17 players.
I was just going to ask
really hard to do.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing on thick grass and low-scoring games. It's a lot easier to do when you're playing 4-hour games. These guys need breaks. They need breaks. So it's a big challenge. And then in the Beast of the East tournaments, which is a regional thing where we plan, you know, from teams on the East Coast, you know, I'll have rosters close to 19, 20 players that I got to get them in. So it's a huge challenge. And that's one of the reasons we're really looking forward to Puerto Rico, because we're going to be trying to take a lot of our newer players down there to get them some experience. So we're looking for ways to get some other games onto the schedule this year, hopefully.
Yeah. So when you formulate a lineup, is it similar to like regular baseball where your best hitter is like a cleanup hitter, or is it done a little differently based on certain things?
Yeah, I just watched a whole video about how to construct a lineup in today's world. It's a lot different than when we were kids, right? Right?
Yeah.
When we were kids, your best hitter hit 3. Now your best hitter hits 2, right? So yeah, no, in our sport, well, I mean, strategy-wise, it's no secret. I mean, typically you bat your best hitter first.
So Shawn, you bat first?
I do not. I do not.
That's not true. You hit first for us a bunch last year.
I've done it a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you normally hit? If you're not leading off.
Usually 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Right up
Best
there.
year.
Right up there.
Best year
Yes.
in a 6-man lineup, and Shawn won an All-Star award in the whole league. He hit a .719 in the World Series.
That's pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That is pretty damn good in
And
any
we
league.
didn't dare move him out of the 4-hole. He stayed hitting 4, even though he had the best batting average on the team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And now,
Is there a way to watch? Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to cut you off. But is there a way to watch? Do you guys live stream or anything like that?
Yeah, we do. So first off, I'd love for you guys to come if you want. You can see us play. We're going to be playing in Woburn on June 21st.
Right down the street.
I know.
In fact, our first game is going to be against our rivals and the defending world champion Philadelphia Fire. So that'll be the first game that will be intense.
Field trip?
So that
3
will
blind
be-
Mike's field trip?
On-site segment.
Just a little intense.
It'll be a little intense.
is there
so
trash
that'll be
talking?
our first game.
Is there trash talking that happens in these games, or?
No,
We
End
don't.
of the light.
That's one of the things that my
Like-
team does not trash talk.
No.
We might talk within ourselves, but we
Yeah,
don't say anything to other teams.
Sure, yeah.
Respect
Have
your
you- have you-
opponents.
Yeah.
Respect
We
you
trash
guys
talk
seen
each
the-
other more than
Yeah, I was
anybody.
gonna say
Sure.
the video of the guy
Yeah.
who he'll just yell at the outfielders. He'll be like, "I bet you wear your socks to bed, you bum."
Yeah, I saw that heckler. He's out there.
Yeah, I love him. He's great. Yeah, I bet you eat your steak well done, you bum. Yeah.
No, we heckle our own players for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the nonstop. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But we do live stream. In fact, Hunter, who I mentioned, like him and actually Shawn's wife Gina, they're two of the best live streamers in our league. And we're going to try to up our game this year, and we're moving to YouTube, and we're going to try to put some graphics on and try to.
Oh,
up
that's
our game a little
fantastic.
bit. Every year we're
That's
doing it.
wonderful.
But we're doing it from a cell phone. It's not like we have great.
This
camera
guy could.
footage.
This guy does a pretty good job too. So.
Yeah, he does it from the iPad.
Yeah,
we were gonna live stream their game at
Yeah, we're
Fairway.
gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you guys are also on Instagram. Like you do a lot of social media. Put a lot
Try.
of videos
Yeah.
on.
We do what we
Shawn's
can.
wife got us on TikTok also. So, yeah, we got everything.
What's your
No,
channel?
I
Go
mean-
plug your channel. What's your?
I don't
I
even know what the
forget.
TikTok channel
So,
is.
the
Or
best
your
way to do it, quite
Instagram?
honestly, is to look for the Boston Renegades, and if you need to find it, look for Boston Renegades Blind, because there's a football team, a women's football team that's.
I was gonna say the Renegades are also. Yeah, I was actually gonna say
They
that.
stole our name. We were the Renegades before
Oh.
them. We begged them not to take the name, and they ignored us.
They still
Just
did
kinda a little
it.
backstory.
Yeah.
We pleaded with them. We're like, please, we're a non-profit. You're going to make it harder for people to find us. And they said, sorry.
Wow.
Those bitches.
I don't have a lot of love.
I can say that. No, I can say that though, because I'm also a woman. Like, wow.
And
Looks
they
like
have a
Gina-
patent out trying to take the. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Gina.
Gina's right on top of it.
So Gina's, there you go. There's our TikTok. She's putting it up there.
Oh, there she is.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Gina can share our other stuff, our YouTube and our Facebook.
Yeah, YouTube is at Boston Renegades. Just search Boston Renegades beat
Yep.
baseball.
And yeah, we're going to be doing some more stuff with it. And sometimes the league will put us on the game of the day at the World Series, and that will be a double camera action,
Wow.
professionally shot.
Yeah.
So you can see the race of the field. You can really get a feel for the race between the fielder and the defensive player with play-by-play and color analysts, and they do a really good job with that. And hopefully, we'll be on multiple game of the days at the World Series.
Yeah.
How many different teams are in New England now? Two. Okay. And then how do you play? Do you just pair up and play and whenever you have games, or?
Yeah, I mean, we have tournaments that are scheduled, and we'll face those in tournaments, and sometimes we'll try to connect and try to play some other games. That other team in New England just started a couple of years ago, so
Okay.
for the majority of our existence, the closest team to us was in New York, so it was always trying to get down. So that they were on Long Island, or are on Long Island, but that was the closest team for us for most of our existence up until about 2 years ago.
Got it. So
That's-
how many games do you have per season? Oh, sorry, Dan. I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
It varies on
vary,
what
yeah.
our finances are. The most we've ever played in a season was 19,
Wow.
and the least we've ever played in a season was our COVID cut year. We only played 5. And last year was actually a low number also. We only played 13. So I'm hoping to be somewhere in the 15, 16 range somehow. I'm trying to scrape up some games.
Mm-hmm.
Was 19 in 2019, Rob, when we played 10 at the World Series?
It was, I'm not sure, Sean, but it would have been a year we went to Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it would have been playing regionally, went to Chicago and the World Series. So I don't think it was that year. I think it was further off in the distance. Yeah. Maybe 2010, something like that.
Yeah.
So how many championships have you won? You said you had the one?
0.
Oh, you haven't won. I thought you had. I thought you did win one.
Oh, painful. Well, we made it, but we got crushed.
Boy, did we!
We made it, but we got crushed.
Didn't mean to.
That was a bitches. Sorry, I had to say that again.
Hey, I finally.
As far as regionally on the Beast of the East, we won the Beast of the East as the best team on the East Coast 9 straight years.
Nice.
Though we have lost the past 4. That's why there's a rivalry with Philadelphia. So
we're getting it back soon.
There's 13 years it's happened, and we're the only 2 teams to have won it. So.
Hey, I finally won my first title after 46 years, however old I am, this past year. So, never too late.
It feels good, though, doesn't it? Never forget your first.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very true.
D, what I was going to say, right, was we've been playing together for years, and me and D can go back to games, 10, 15 years ago about exact plays, exact scenarios, and, live them as if they were happened yesterday. You two talk the same way about games. It's funny, and it's awesome to hear. Like, you guys can go back to, championship games you could have had or should have had if you did something different. It's great to hear, how the similarities that I'm finding that you guys experience with us.
The players, we really, we spend, so much time together trying to work. I mean, our game is all about like getting to know your teammates, and really just that collaboration amongst teammates on the field is such a huge thing. And then after games, we have either a 6-hour drive from Philadelphia or Long Island, or flights and hotel stays. And so we really do get to know each other. And some of those stories get thrown around. There's some we'd rather forget, but a few of our players won't let us forget them, and others we all talk about with reverence. Of course, they get a little.
Any you can share on air?
Well, my personal favorites, because I did it, but we in 2019, that when I won the All-Star, we were playing a team we had never beat, and it came down to last out, and I was the one up, and I hit a walk-off hit, and it was one of the best feelings in the world. Just after I hit that bag and the umpire yelled safe, and Rob doesn't want to hear this, but in my head, all I could think was, "Oh, thank Christ, I didn't screw this up." But yeah, it was it's just that and with the blindfold on, all I heard was the eruption of my teammates just screaming, and just that support we all give each other is just insane. And some of the best moments are when people score their first runs or get their first defensive put out, and you see the whole team just erupt, and even though we can't see where they are, just pile onto the field. And really, a few times we've carried people back to the bench in celebration. It's just that unique feeling you get from seeing your teammates succeed, and all of us putting in that hard work, and it's finally paying off.
What Shawn doesn't tell you, which is a beat ball story, Shawn tells you about the end result, but what he doesn't tell you is what happened beforehand. Right beforehand, Shawn hit a no-doubter bomb into left center that every sighted person's like, game over, and he's 30 feet from the base, and we had an equipment malfunction, and the base shut off. And Shawn went into panic because now he's running with no noise to run against, and he couldn't
panic.
He couldn't find the base. So the rule is equipment malfunction, do-over. And we're like, son of a like
the bird incident.
Never beaten before,
a do-over,
right? And we're like, are you kidding me? Like, everyone knows game's over, and the base just stops. It's like
unbelievable. That would be my luck.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So Shawn and I had a moment as we were walking him back to home plate after this, which is kind of one of my coaching favorite moments, or funny moments. About 2 weeks before this, I had introduced a drill to the team that every player bitched about, and I was trying to have them run to bases that weren't on. And they were
Boy,
like,
did it suck.
and they hated it, and they bitched, and they convinced the base running coaches while I was off at another station to stop the drill, and they did. And I caught wind of it. Anyway, we're walking back from that base after that moment, and I say, I bet you wish you weren't bitching about that drill I did.
Well, he forgets another part of that story.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Because I had hit
Well.
three or four foul ball, like long foul balls, and I had to run the whole way. And I traditionally I was gassed. I traditionally don't believe in taking takes. It's just part of my philosophy, I guess. And so I'm walking back. He goes, you have a take, right? And I looked at him. I go, I don't need no blanking take.
You can swear on this
That's
podcast.
right.
No,
Yeah.
I don't need no fucking take. And I didn't take, and it worked out.
That's
That's beat
awesome.
baseball. Yeah, that's beat baseball.
How often does equipment malfunction like that? Does
Too
it
often.
happen?
Well,
More than it should.
More than it should. I mean, there's an
Yeah.
equipment problem, right? And one of the things that sucks, and we have a player on our team who played college baseball, and he can swing the bat.
Oh, yes, he can.
And he hits what we call little piggies. And that's when he hits the ball so hard that beeping comes like a flat line, goes beep, 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 and then starts to beep again. So the biggest equipment malfunction is being punished for hitting the ball too hard, and then you have to come back to the plate with the same count. You don't even get a fresh count now. So you could have a 3-strike count, crush a ball by everybody, and they'll make you go back and redo it over.
It's the worst.
Cruel.
What kind of bats do you use? I didn't even see that. Just metal bats, or?
That's a great question. Yeah, we have to be careful about the bats that we use. My team's done a lot of work to try to help the league in this space. We've actually worked. I don't know if you guys are aware that there's a bat testing facility up at UMass Lowell. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but we've worked with them. We've actually worked with Easton as well. This player that we were talking about, his bat's actually in Cooperstown, and in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and it's bent. So it's a bent bat in Cooperstown, and that was why we started working with Easton, because we started bending bats. What's happened is the alloy has just started getting thinner and thinner, and we have had bats break. And there's nothing more frightening than a bat breaking when you're standing 15 feet away as a pitcher.
Well, and aluminum at that.
With a blind player, because that bat's not making noise as it's whizzing through the air.
That's a little terrifying.
Yeah. So we typically are using BB core baseball bats. We do not use composite. Try to use aluminum bats. The composite bats are banned. There's a bat that's made for this ball in Chicago. It's called the Windy City. They're really heavy bats, like 38-ounce bats. And then some teams, we did a lot with a wood bat manufacturer called Phoenix Bats, and they have a line of baseball approved bats that we helped get. And then the sad thing, which I would wish would change, is a lot of guys are still using, if you remember from like the 80s, these Black Max bats.
Yeah, the Black Magic.
Yeah.
Black Max. But the problem with those are they're old, and the fact that these teams are using used bats on eBay, and they don't have a clue if those bats have a crack in it or anywhere. So there's a danger in buying used equipment. But bats are a problem because of the weight of this ball. We can't just use any bat.
So Rob, has the rules of the league, have they adapted over the years, like to? I mean, you make a good point with the bats and stuff. Even our leagues, one of our commissioners has done a lot of work trying to get all of our leagues to kind of get all the rules formulated under one umbrella. Has there been any thought to do that, or?
Yeah, I mean, we've made some changes as far as the bats. When we worked with Easton, we had to change the rules because the rules specifically had a rule on the diameter of the bat and focused on softball bats. That was you couldn't use a baseball bat. But through the research that we did with Easton, we were able to convince the majority of the league from a safety perspective, to allow baseball bats in, because they're set up to hit a harder ball. And the BB core baseball bats have typically, according to Easton, a stronger alloy.
Because you said it's a 1-pound baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can
Or
get
softball,
heavier
but
because that ball, when you're playing on wet grass, it starts
Right.
to soak up.
Yes, it can.
Yeah, it can get heavier. So yeah.
Has the ball ever changed, or has it always been the same for as many years?
You want to take that, Shawn?
Yeah, they're actually the one Rob showed you is the traditional beat baseball that's been used for a number of years. I'm sure there's been minute changes that in the mechanics and how it's made. It's made with old telephone booth parts, so it's a group called the Pioneers out in Colorado. They make it, but recently there's been one of the coaches on a team in Houston has been working on a ball. His name is Fonzie, so we call it a Fonzie ball, and it's slightly lighter and it has a different sound, but it's like a deeper, more like almost, to me it sort of sounds like those old school alarm clocks, like the and it's lighter, and it had the speaker component and the pin component are in the same spot, so it doesn't there's less spots to hit. They seem to be more durable. I don't know, I prefer the sound of the older one personally. It's a higher pitched sound, and I'm 32, but I'm sure the older guys and girls on my team would disagree with the higher sound being better. But yeah, no, I'll tell you, it does not feel good when it hits you pretty hard. I broke my rib last year on a ball, so.
Jeez. Now, do you have dreams or nightmares about that sound? Because I mean, it's literally you can hear it the whole game.
Yeah,
right?
I'll tell you. After my first tournament, we were in, I forget where we were on Long Island, and I went to bed that night, and that's all I could hear. It just is in my head. And now, honestly, if I hear, I've been conditioned to, if something starts beeping, my head immediately turns and I start moving towards it. I want to pick it up. It's just.
Well, it's like when you hear a car alarm that's been going off for 2 minutes, and it's off, but it still feels like,
Yeah, you can hear it. I can feel it. I can hear it. It consumes my mind in the summer.
Now this might be. Let me try to see if I can phrase this question the right way. So, as a batter, right, as a sighted batter, I watch the windup, right? That's how I know my timing. So I imagine, right, as a vision impaired hitter, you're listening to the sound coming towards you. But does the rotation of the speaker, does that fuck with you? Like, I could imagine, like, the rotation of the speaker and the right.
Well, actually,
we don't. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I understand, but we don't.
We want to share all our tricks.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. There's got to be some technique with the pitcher.
Rob,
that's what I'm.
Yes.
Rob's gonna get mad at me, but I don't listen to the ball anymore. I listen.
Okay. Oh.
So, Ange, that's actually perfect.
We don't listen to the ball. No team should listen to the ball, because every ball's got a different sound. We actually have a player that we struggle with that listens to the ball, and his swing changes because he's trying to chase the ball, and he's just not successful. We're like, stop listening to the ball. And if you come see us play or practice, and we invite anybody who's listening to this, we'd love to have you guys come check us out. You'll see when we go to batting practice, we don't hit balls that beat.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how we use all the broken ones that we break. They go into a dead ball bag, and it just becomes, again, it's that relationship between the pitcher and the hitter, where it becomes listening to the pitcher's cadence. So what will happen is, to start a play, when the umpire says play ball, and every team does it a little bit different, but typically the pitcher is going to have a cadence that could be set, ready ball, set, ready pitch. Sometimes the pitcher just says ready pitch. Right?
Oh, okay. So they speak as they pitch.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That went over my head. Okay. So
So, Ange.
And as a pitcher, to learn how to pitch in this game, right, you have to be able to, it's a combination of having great coordination to be able to put that ball where you want. It is an ability where you have to actually be consistent with how you say it, right? So it's not just throwing the ball. You have to be consistent in how you say it. The good pitchers can change how they say it and say, I want to take you to right field because your right fielder sucks. So let's go take you to right field. So I'm going to change something up so that Shawn can take it to right field as opposed to yanking it down the left field line. So the good pitchers have that type of strategy, and the great pitchers are also psychologists, and will turn around and go, Shawn's a little amped up today. His swing's going north. So I need to take him north. I gotta pitch a little higher than he normally is, and so there's that psychology and knowing your players as well that comes into play.
Wow.
Music to Andy's ear.
We spend a lot of time with our pitchers. Like, one of our pitchers, he's also a teacher. He's a math teacher, and he and I get together along with Tyler actually, and my wife Gina, and we do side sessions just to work on our relationship as a pitcher and a batter and a catcher, and it creates sort of that small group aspect where I find some of the best practices are in small groups, but also we are friends and we hang out and have a good time too. So it's it really gives us the opportunity to work on that relationship where in a lot of other sports you can just go out there and just do it, but we really need to spend time. I mean, even in the field, there's 6 people with blindfolds on running around. If we don't practice together, we don't collisions can happen, which are terrifying, and right. All the players we practice with, we spend a lot of time building that communication in the field to really tell I can tell people on any play. I can almost tell you where almost every player is just by standing there and saying, okay, this position should be here, this position should be here, just based on what happened. And we can almost do it to like the foot, like know exactly where they are, and that's late in the season as we go. But early we got to keep those relationships up. But it's a lot of work, a lot of mental work that goes into this game that doesn't so much go into other games.
So, Ange, your question about the ball was actually a perfect segue to a video I had queued up. So, Brett Rudy actually tried hitting one of these baseballs. This was some years ago. So this is what it looks like for a baseball player who's never played beep baseball to hit a baseball.
We do have a beeping ball in the car that we can whip out and try if you want it. Here you go.
That's Rob, of course.
Of course.
So you blindfolded Brett. And now, can you tell us what's happening here?
Yeah, I can tell you. I can see it. So what Brett is doing is he's setting himself up in the batter's box. One of the things that we want our batters to do is we want them to be consistent with everything that they do. Because if you're up in the box one time or back in the box another time, that can affect your timing. Right. So now what's happening is I'm telling Brett to get up in the box. Like I said earlier, a lot of our guys will stand up in the box. So we're showing him how we set up so he's up in the box. So he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. And in this instance, he didn't want to be up in the box, so he just moved back. I sit on a stool. People make fun of me. There's a story behind the stool. I won't get into that here. But what's happened is now we're taking some practice swings here. So I think Ron's pitching this day. So we just have an idea of where he's swinging.
Blindfold on. Anything could happen.
So bat speed is a thing that you.
That's a big thing. I mean, you're hitting a 1-pound ball. So.
Yeah.
And this bat that Brett's holding right now, I believe, is a 34-30 softball bat. So he's hitting a 30-ounce softball bat.
Well, he can't hit a baseball that well, so you don't have nothing to worry about here.
I'm going to guess, just based on the players that are in this video, this is probably somewhere around 2013.
Yeah, this was, on YouTube 11 years ago, it said.
So we're just trying to teach him the different cadence.
Yeah.
So you'll see me put my target up. So what we're trying to do is make his bat go through my glove, so it makes it easier for the pitcher to just focus on a target.
You want to try to start your swing as soon as he finishes the H.
And you'll see, so he was really late, so I'm trying to tell him to adjust his timing based on the cadence of the pitcher.
Don't take out the camera. You do look pretty young there, Rob.
I was gonna say.
It's a long time ago.
I think he finally hits a good one. We don't have to watch the whole thing, but just
and what was just happen at the end is, and if you watch us play, you'll see that my players will set up every pitch.
Yeah.
Because, you take a swing. And if you take a big hack and you miss, I just want to make sure that you're starting in the same spot. You have to be in the batter's box. You guys are umpires. You get that. So sometimes you take a big cut, you're out of the batter's box, especially when you're at the front edge of it. But we need to make sure we're always setting up and so that we're in a consistent spot. And that's what I was doing with Brett is like, you took a swing, now you're standing in a different spot. Now, so it's not just towards and back of the pitcher, but if you stand too close to home plate, and I put it in the same spot, I'm hitting you in the hands opposed to the barrel now.
That's as a player, part of we do have a consistent routine we do at the plate, and that's part of it is just you got to set up at that plate just to make sure everything is the same. So when we get up there, our job is to take 4 of the same swing. So,
What is your hit by pitch rule?
It hurts.
Hit by pitch rule is if you mouth off to our pitcher and give him too much crap, he'll nail you. That's the rule.
He will. It's true.
Have you ever hit a bird with a pitch?
We're on the same team. We're not hitting our pitchers. If I go back to 2000, when I first was helping this team get started, there was a team in Brookline, there was a team in Lowell, there was a team in New Bedford, and we were getting together. My team in Lowell was teaching the other two teams how to do it, and we go and we watched the New Bedford team come out, and they were like, we were the experienced team. We're like, do you want us to pitch to you? No, we got it. And I watched their pitcher nail their hitters like 4 or 5 times. Are you sure? And we found out later that their pitcher was had severe visual impairment. And they eventually let us pitch to him. But when you're playing at this level, you're not hitting your pitchers, you're not hitting your players unless they're mouthing off to you and you want to.
But you don't get a base or anything, is what I'm saying. Like, no. You don't get any. Not that. No.
No, we actually had a real umpire thing happen with getting hit. At the World Series last year, the same team that Shawn played, that was talking about, the Bayou City Heat, were playing an intense game on the first day of the World Series against them with our best hitter up, and the umpire turned around and called a strike. So what happened is he swung, and the umpire claimed the ball hit him in the hands. Did not hit him in the hands, but the umpire thought it hit him on the hands on a swing.
Okay.
And he called that a strike. Instead of a foul, I thought it should have been a foul ball. He called it a strike.
Did you hand him a blindfold? A blindfold?
The players are blind and the umpires aren't. Right. So it was an interesting situation. I've always been taught that the hands are part of the bat. And the umpire was like, that's not the case. That is an out. That is not a foul ball. We got into a huge argument. It wasn't in our rule book, so we have to default to the ASA's rule book. The game was delayed like a half an hour for this.
I was on deck. I remember this.
Oh, the worst.
It was brutal. But we ended up losing the game by 2 runs, and I screwed up my argument with the umpire. Instead of me arguing, about the actual rule, I should have been arguing that it didn't hit his hands, because it didn't hit his hands. Right, and whatever. We lost the rule. We lost it. He was out. We lost the game by 2 runs. So, it's just kind of an umpire thing. I would.
Now, a run occurs when they reach the bag safely before the fielder captures the ball. Right.
Yeah,
that's
correct. Yeah.
That's a run, yeah.
And the fastest runners can get down the line in maybe a little under 5 seconds, a hair under 5 seconds. I mean, you've got some elite, some of the, so we had some Paralympian sprinters, some Paralympian athletes playing this sport, and some of these guys can fly. This kid Tyler that we're talking about,
he's really fast.
He was a high school sprinter. He played cornerback before he lost his sight. He can fly.
I saw his
Shawn runs
bio.
pretty well for a big guy.
So the noise itself is really more for the fielders, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually, there's if the ball dies and you hit it, and like Rob said, you can get screwed if you're the offensive player, but you can kind of get screwed if you're the defensive player too, because if someone hits a ball and it just hits it in the right spot and it lands right in front of you and it's not making a noise, you have no idea it's there.
Right.
So
right.
You could have easily made a play and got somebody out, but instead they get a redo, and then who knows what could happen. We've had players actually make stops on dead balls before, which you just lay down and hope for the best, which it happens, and it's cool if you do it, but it's no harm, no foul if you don't do it. So.
And do your base markers, do they make a different sound than the ball?
It's like a buzz, almost like I don't know. Trying to think of something that buzzes nowadays. Not much buzzes. But it's just like it's a consistent like
a cell phone vibrating, or
it's a little louder than that, but it's a similar idea. Just like a constant noise, and whereas the ball pulsates and is beeping, the bass is doing that buzz. But some bases, if the ball gets close to it, it can just kind of absorb the noise of the ball.
Wow. Yeah.
A follow-up question I had now with umpires, do they have like a clicker where they click the certain base to make one of the 3 kind of make the noise, and how do they kind of officiate the game? You said?
Some teams do it. Typically it's just a switch. It's just like a toggle switch with 3 spots. To the left is third base, to the right is first, and to the middle is off. So we have a base operator at every game that does, that's their job. When the pitch is thrown, they flip the switch and they try to do it as randomly as possible. It's hard to be truly random, but
yeah, I mean, technically you could give them a couple bucks here, be like, if there's a righty.
It's been considered.
Okay. Right. Yeah, because obviously running towards third is harder than running if you're a righty batter.
I've been playing
sometimes
I find it actually easier sometimes.
Easier.
The conditions can play into that, right? So yes, running the third is harder as a right-handed batter, right? But sometimes third base is louder than first base, and it's easier to run to. Sometimes the field conditions, the sound may bounce off of different things in a different way. So, or sometimes first base might be slightly uphill. So there's different things that happen just based on the fields that we play that. Yeah, third base in theory sounds the harder one to run, but sometimes it's not based on some of the other things that are going on.
I mean, we had practice today, and it was relatively windy early on, and it moves. Wind can move the sound, and you don't notice it until you get
closer.
Yeah, and missing a base is one of the worst feelings in beat baseball because you're running 100 feet and you're getting up to speed, and then you go flying past something, and then you hear it pass you, and you're like, oh no. Now I have to go back.
Oh no.
We used to have a thing on the team that now everyone's a little bit more. I don't know what the word is. I guess
progressive,
there's a more PC way of doing things. But we used to have we used to call it the pink blindfold. So if you missed a base, you had to wear the pink blindfold. The blindfold of shame, we called it. You had to wear it until another person missed the base. I wish we kept we keep stats on everything. I wish we had kept stats on it, but typically the guy who wore the pink blindfold, his batting average would always get much better while he. But it got really gnarly because we didn't, it got really gnarly.
Gross.
And we ended it when COVID came. So.
So Shawn, obviously you were an athlete, most of your life through high school. Do you find that beat baseball gives you that same the competitive juice that regular sports?
Oh, it gives me more because I can contribute way more now than when I was, just struggling to keep up with sighted athletes. I'm lucky enough to be one of the starters on the team, and it's really. I was never a starter. I was a starter on the wrestling team, but it wasn't really the same because there was 14 weight classes. But yeah, being able to perform at a high level and is really one of the best things in the world. I like I said, I had to struggle to just be average, and now I'm putting in the same amount of work, and it's actually it's paying off. Being somewhat of an elite player, so it really gives me that fulfillment I've been looking for. And lucky enough, my wife's on the team, so we get to enjoy it. We get to enjoy it together, and with all my good friends on the team. And when somebody wins an award, we're almost more happy than the person winning the award. So it's one of those things that it's awesome. It's truly awesome.
Now, what does Rob mean to you? Because obviously he's been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
You can be honest,
No, I mean, Rob can attest to this. We've had hour-long conversations where we started screaming at each other, and then we ended up, laughing at the end of it, just arguing over some dumb thing.
That's a sign of a good marriage.
Yeah, Rob's passion for this sport and just passion to see us all get better is truly inspiring. I wish I had passion for, a lot of things I do that he has for this, and we joke that he's a catcher, and catchers really aren't. We could put a basket back there to do the same thing, but we talk. Rob is the last person we talk to before we get to the plate. He's the first person we see when we get back, and when you do something good, he's the first one to tell you, like, oh, that was the best play you've ever made, blah blah blah. But when you do something bad, he's always watching, and so you're like, okay, Rob's going to tell me this, Rob's going to tell me that. On the live streams, you'll even hear, we have certain things we're working on. You'll hear Rob scream from the catcher after you did something, and you'll just go, yeah, I know, I did it. I'll fix it. It's that. He's really instilled that whole, and also the culture. Like we call him the Bill Belichick of beat baseball. So it's trying to get some sort of strategic advantage or something.
Do your job.
Exactly. Just go out there and do your job. Fundamentals, that kind of stuff.
Videotaping other teams.
No, well, I'm a Denver Broncos fan, so yeah, that happens. Beepgate. But really, Rob's just passion and just want to see us do better is truly admirable. And he's obviously one of my best friends. I spend most of my summer with him, for better or worse sometimes. But yeah, he's truly built this team helped build this team from the ground up, and to see where we are now is incredible. I mean, I was lucky enough to join when it has already been established for 10 years. So, and then just to be a part of this great team culture and all that is fantastic.
So Rob, what you have open tryouts? I assume it's something like that. How does it feel when you have just this athlete just come out of nowhere that all of a sudden wants to try out for your team?
Right.
Probably just
I mean, look, so, from a sighted perspective, our sighted coaches, I mean, we're all motivated to do the best that we can. And, we're all hungry to win. We've been doing it for a long time, but we want to do it with our guys. I'm not going to go fly in someone from St. Louis to play with us or New York to play with us. We want to do it with our guys. We want to give it people. So when we find someone that loves it and wants to put the work in, it just motivates us more to want to put the work in. And that's really, and I think you guys all know is, when your best players are the ones that are coming to practice all the time and pushing everyone else to be better, that's when your team does well.
Yep.
All right. And when you get someone that wants to put that work in and is going to be leading, and that's, Shawn is one of our best players, and he's at every single thing that we do. And when your best players are doing that, everyone else falls in line, and it just helps make that culture go. So, our volunteers, and one of the reasons we're here today is we're hoping, we're hoping that, we can kind of work with you guys and your group and any of the players in this league. We'd love to throw the gauntlet down and challenge any team to play us. Right?
You won't beat us.
No, we won't.
Play aversion.
No, they won't.
Play aversion. Learn the sport and see if there's anyone that's out there that wants to come help us and do something that's really cool and be part of the game and go on the field with Fenway and come to Cooperstown with us and get in the dirt with Shawn and help them learn mechanics and hit fungo at them. And there's all these skills that these people that could come from this league and make an instant impact in this team. And they'll turn around when they see some of these athletes come to us and they'll start salivating also, ooh, this guy's going to take us to the next level. Right?
We get excited about having those elite
player. We had a new player that came today, her first official practice. And I said her because it's a co-ed team, right? And look, she's self-admittedly not going to be the biggest athlete, but she seems like such a great person. And when she does something, everyone's just going to be so excited and proud of her because everyone's going to have a piece in helping her grow as a player. And that's going to be so cool when she makes her first put out on defense or scores her first run. It will be real when we celebrate that.
So Matt was a high school varsity coach. So, and we're all umpires.
If you want to come down, man, come check us out. Bottom line is, I'd ask anyone.
Definitely want to.
Come check us out. We practice every Sunday morning in Watertown. We're starting to practice Wednesday nights. This Wednesday night, we're at BC. We're going to be having a charity event at Brandeis on Saturday morning. We have a tournament on June 21st. So blindcitizens.org/renegades is our schedule. You can also reach us at bostonrenegades@gmail.com. Look at that. Nick's watching. He just started volunteering.
Nick, attaboy.
Most rewarding experiences he's ever been a part of.
So, it can be really something special, and I really hope, and we need some baseball people, really. I mean, we really do, and they'll make a huge impact on this team. And
one unique point about beat baseball is, we talked about the spotters, catcher, and pitcher. Very rarely in a sport you get to be a coach and be directly involved, on the field in the game. Our spotters, they're part of the defense. They're just as big a part of a defense as any player, maybe bigger. And our pitchers, like I said, we work for, they're on the field as much as we are, and they have to be, you get to coach, but also be, that sort of role on the field that you don't get from other sports. I coached football for a number of years, and just standing on the sideline isn't as rewarding as being on the field. It's still rewarding, but actually being on the field and being part of it is really something that a lot of our coaches have said is a huge part.
And our pitchers, when our pitchers throw a pitch to a player that's never scored a run in their life, and they they line it up and hit it well and score their first run, you'll see the pitcher's hands go up, and
Yeah,
they're
oh,
in
yeah.
celebration just as much as the player because of how special that moment is for somebody to score their first run. So.
So I would consider umping, but the second someone handed me their eyeballs, I think I would, I'd be out.
Mine are still
hilarious.
attached, so I
Happened
can't take them
once to
out.
my, it's kind of a legendary story. I've never seen it happen.
Well, I'm not squeamish like Dan unless you're killing wildlife, so I'm ready.
You almost threw up when the bird got hit with the baseball. She had
That's
a
what I'm
Randy
just saying.
Johnson
It was
bird incident.
wildlife. It was a bird. It's not a plastic eyeball. I'm not that squeamish.
But just
This
the
was
fact
like
that they took it out of their eye socket, that's the part that.
That's crazy.
there's no blood on that.
I think it's
Hopefully.
awesome. Probably better eyes than yours.
Yeah.
Guys, this has been honestly like one of the most like heartwarming kind of shows that we've had, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say that you can't not be romantic about baseball. So every episode we have is always just this kind of very like warming story, but this is actually like just really awesome. Like as an educator myself, who works with kids who have special needs and in special ed, like it's just so awesome to know that there are people and organizations like you both that exist that give kids who then become adults a life that isn't relegated to a very specific kind of route, right? That really there are these kind of opportunities for them. And I imagine, and I guess I didn't know this before, but there have to be other kind of sports that are for the visually impaired or for kind of lesser sight or some other, kind of thing that isn't necessarily like the Paralympics, right? Because those athletes are phenomenal. Like those are amazing. And not that you guys aren't, but you know what I mean? Like that's that's like, I don't know, like Tahoe stuff or whatever that lake is that they all go to. But that there are things like amateur baseball that they could do, or like an amateur volleyball or something like that. So I'm so touched.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, Angie, I hope they see you come check us out.
Absolutely. You can't miss me. I'm this loud in person too.
If nothing else, you'll be entertained. I'll tell you what.
I will.
And we are looking for umpires. We will hopefully be hosting a tournament.
You're not the only one.
I was gonna say. You and everybody else.
It's easier to teach an umpire to umpire this game than try to teach someone that doesn't know how to umpire and run the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty basic rules. It's just about getting yourself in position to be able to make a call. But it's a lot of the stuff's bang bang, and and a lot of so it can be like I said, we were going to play Philadelphia, and that's going to be intense.
Yeah,
and it can be difficult to make those calls. People get hurt when the calls are made wrong. You'll see people throw balls and get upset, just like you'll see it in real baseball. But I'll tell you, my team. Code of conduct. Our players don't talk to umpires.
Nope.
It's just we have two people. They don't like a call, and they go back to the bench. There's only two people on the team who talk to the umpire.
If only every team had that.
I was gonna say, if only that was.
We'd have a lot more
Only that
umpires.
was the universal rule.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I'll display your schedule again. I know you said the Puerto Rico
let's look
game
at that.
was canceled, but for those interested, so June 21st, right, is your next game.
Yeah. The 28th is actually not in Woburn. The 28th is going to be in Philadelphia.
Oh, did I
Okay.
do that? I might have done that wrong.
And then which is the one at Brandeis? You said this Saturday?
This
At
Saturday.
Brandeis?
This
Okay,
Saturday,
cool.
we're doing a demonstration. So there's
Okay.
an organization in Waltham that donated to us. And
What time on Saturday?
The demonstration is gonna start I think at around 10:45 in the morning.
Okay. The
Right?
regular
If you wanna
field?
come, so you got my number, text me and I'll make sure
Okay.
you get the VIP treatment and
Okay,
yeah.
I'd love to. All right, I'd love
I'd
to. I'll bring my
get you
kids.
VIP treatment. We could even give you a chance to strap the blindfold on and try it if you want.
Oh my
I won't
God,
give you-
I'm there.
I won't give you this one. It still smells.
I will say though, technically, if I take my glasses off, I am pretty fucking blind. I don't know if I'm legally blind, but you would not want me behind a car. Like
Hey, me too.
they are thick AF. Seriously. So
Somehow the Savannah, I can never say it. The bananas.
Savannah
Savannah
bananas.
bananas.
Bananas need to pick this up somehow.
So that'd be awesome.
I have reached out to them.
Yeah.
Have you?
He had.
Yeah, and I was disappointed because of their fans' first attitude. They didn't respond to me.
I mean, they must have so many
They're
people
getting
reaching
so
out to
big.
them.
Yeah, I reached out to them
they're
2 years ago.
huge.
They're so massive right now. It doesn't surprise me. But
Yeah.
I just finished reading their book.
Brett and
about
I will
it.
be at the next event, so we'll talk to
Yeah.
them. We got to meet Jesse and
cool.
all the dancing umpire and.
I had reached out to them as well, but so I actually grew up in foster care. I was a foster kid, and so when they have the bananas, they have like the whole Bananas Fosters is actually like an organization that they run on the side that is for foster kids. And so I just kind of reached out and similarly just said, hey, I'm an umpire now, and I grew up with baseball, and just thank you so much for doing this. And I got probably a what are those, just like a why am I thinking the word? Yeah, thank you. I'm like, why can't I think of the word? Yeah,
Copy paste,
but it was still okay. I just imagine so many people reach out to kind of ask, but I mean, this is just wonderful what you guys are doing, and I mean, in any way that we can support, I think we will absolutely continue to plug that. So send us your future dates and anything that we can for that, for sure.
Yeah, anyone's welcome. Anyone that's listening to this, you can reach out to us and email us and come watch us practice. And we'd love to have anyone come down and check us out. And we'll give you the opportunity to talk to some of the athletes and put the blindfold on and try it. We need help, and anyone in this part of this league can make a huge difference.
Yeah,
we really can, and they'll make it fast. I promise. And it's not just making a difference on us athletically. You make a difference in their lives.
Yeah,
they all want to get better, and that's what makes them get better. Is someone that can hit the ball hard, and someone that can tell them the difference between rolling wrists and how to fix rolling wrists. And just all those little mechanical things can help these guys get to where they want to go.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
So yeah, Boston Renegades, check them out. They're on TikTok, YouTube. You just on NPR, right, Matt? Gib, you said.
Yeah, I caught an episode a couple of weeks ago, Rob. Were you on NPR talking about all this?
I was on NPR the same day as that. I was on for like 40 seconds. I was on NPR for like 40 seconds. I mean, we were also on Christian Thaxton on our website. He was on a show called Only a Game that was on NPR a few years back, like 2018. They put him on, and he was syndicated around the country with that story. So, yeah.
It's nice we have these platforms where we're able to kind of spread the word and raise awareness about these different avenues that exist. It's all we can do is take advantage of what's there.
Well, next time one of your players on the field gives you lip about someone being blind, you turn around and tell them, go play the blind team. You want to complain about this? You go play the blind team.
Beat Baseball is looking for some people.
We're all umpires. We're all umpires, so we're the ones that are getting.
They might tell us to go.
Yeah, exactly. No, thank you guys so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for helping us spread the word.
Yeah, best of luck. We absolutely will. Thank you. I'm going to try to make it on Saturday for real, so I'll send you a text if I can.
All right, super.
Awesome.
Let me know, and I'll keep in touch with if the weather. Every Saturday,
that's right.
Every Saturday it rains.
It's been awful.
So many rainouts.
So bad. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Have a good week. We're almost done with school.
11 days.
I don't know when you get out, but yeah.
11 days. Who's counting?
11 days till unemployment. I look forward to it every year.
That's right.
Welcome to my world.
All right. Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Stuff.
How so awesome.
That is awesome.
See, you know what? The biggest thing, I mean, over and over, the amount, all they kept talking about was how important the community is to them and how much like their friendships and their team and everything has just grown because they continue to try to play a game that they love. And not even, they're trying to learn a game, a different form of a game that we all.
It's like us talking about our men's league, the same passion.
No different. It's same passion that they're recalling games from 10 years ago. It's great. It's great.
And it makes you realize kind of some of the things you take for granted. Do you know what I mean? Even just the ability to do those and the ability to be pissed off at a game and just even the rush, just like getting into a fight on the field gives you and that's something that they get to experience as well, probably in the same exact way, which I'm I don't know. I just think that like that's just so awesome to know that that's out there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine.
People are doing good work.
Think about one of those balls coming at you,
Great work.
and you have no idea.
Ah.
A 1 pound bowling ball? No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I was particularly like I caught when being terrified overrunning a base. We know that feeling overrunning second on a steal or something, going back to the base. Never mind not knowing where it is, or
Yes.
not knowing where a ball is on a foul ball. Like as a catcher, right? How many times is the ball at your feet? Where's the ball, right?
Or the sun gets in your eye and you can't see it and it just flies right by you.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
So yeah, my heart is all warmed now. Thanks, guys.
Well, that's a perfect segue to your little
Some
segment.
wonderful news. Yes, let's go.
Great.
All you.
So for the first time ever, the MLB has started to put some money where their mouth has been about women and sports and baseball. They are now, so Rob Manfred has kind of commissioned this women's pro softball league. Kim Ning is at the head of this, who, as we all know, was the GM of the Marlins, who did a phenomenal job with that organization. And then the Red Sox kind of shit the bed, not kind of going for her harder, although to be honest, she also declined an interview, but they could have gone for her harder. So he kind of, I think, has been seeing, or I think not just Manfred, but the organization in general, I think, has really been seeing this women in baseball is really a thing. But the college players are coming from softball and they really do want to have a competitive league. And so they've sunk a good chunk of money into hiring Kim as the commissioner, and it's going to be a thing. It's a real investment at this point. They're looking at growing the sport, and I'm so excited because some of those ladies who are playing college ball right now, I think was it 79.4 fastest softball pitch on record, which is the equivalent to I think 120 mile an hour baseball, just pitched in the World Series of softball. So phenomenal, excited. That is it. I mean, I couldn't top anything else. So that is it for my segment.
Good stuff.
So awesome.
Great
I'm
stuff.
so excited to watch that. I mean, baseball was always my sport, but obviously I played softball, so I love the sport, and I'm so excited to see this finally happening for women.
And that is a diamond.
Girls.
Girls are
Is there a gerbil
Diamonds
running around
are
somewhere?
girls' best friend.
It's been a long day.
Diamonds are my best friend. Oh, long day. Speaking of, can I tell you guys what I did? So this doubleheader, it's an awesome, it's a great game. 13U, I've got a partner. Phenomenal play. Kid is like coming into home. I mean, he's running, the ball is coming. I'm watching for obstruction. I'm watching for interference. Kid slides in, he's out. And what do I do, guys? I go, out. He's out.
Oh, no.
I did. And the coach is like, I know, but you're saying safe. And I'm like, no shit, he's out.
no.
Sorry. But the play was so good. If they're watching, which they're not, but the play was so good that I literally was watching for all the things to happen and then sit out.
Too clean.
So I have a question for you. This came up in my game today. So run around first, and a line drive to shortstop, and the runner got off. He's halfway to second base. Didn't think he was going to catch it. Line drive, shortstop, throws to first to try and double him up, throws it out of play. How many bases does he get?
Two. Time of throw. 2 bases.
I thought it was 1. It's actually 2.
Time of throw.
My partner originally gave him 2 in the bench, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought that's only 1.
Time of pitch is 1.
Right. See,
Right.
You were paying attention in class.
I was a very good student.
So I always thought that. I know a throw from the outfield is 2 bases, but yeah, we thought. Well, my partner said it was 2. I thought it was 1. We ended up just giving him 1, but then looked it up afterwards, and sure enough, it's 2 bases. Someone was paying attention in class.
You should have called me.
We were in that same class.
Add it to the toolbox, D. Come
Yeah,
on.
it's
That's
true. You learn something every game. Every game I learn something.
Yeah.
I had an awesome partner this weekend. You guys know I don't work with partners often. And he was just teaching me a whole bunch of signs. I was like, oh, is that what that means? Is that because people do it to me? And I'm just like, okay, buddy, I got
Yeah,
you. But he actually
what
took
was
the
it?
time.
What was it?
So
The
it was
tag,
this
or
one,
the
the tag up,
Yeah.
and then the
Tag
times
up.
play. So yeah, tag up, times play. I mean,
Yeah.
I know infield fly, obvi.
Gibbs always
I think,
throwing
yeah.
gang signs. They look like
Yeah.
gang signs to me. I was like,
They're not
all right,
gang
I've
Gibbs.
had I've had somebody too do some sort of like
this
this
one?
thing. Yeah, and
This
then there was
one,
one he was
first and
pointing down the
third.
third line. Yeah, he was pointing down the third line, and I was just like,
What
"Yay!"
what I do now is when you point to what bag you're going to. So one out,
Mhm.
you're home plate ump. I go like this. I'm going
Yeah.
to third.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
third.
Yeah,
One out.
yeah.
Yeah, one out.
Yeah, that's kind of okay. So that's what I thought when he was pointing at third, that meant that he was going to cover third. And then, but he was just really good with me. And every single time I came in, he would go over something. Because when we were first heading out, I said, listen, I don't work with a partner often. Give me everything you got. Tell me anything you see. So then, of course, after I went out, he was
Yeah.
like, so I was like, listen, I got
Was
that
this
one.
in
Thank you.
Arlington, the game I had after you?
There was a game right
Yeah,
before
yeah,
you. Yeah. It was also raining and
Yeah, of
cold
course. I
the
was gonna say,
whole
of course it was
time.
raining.
Was it
Yeah.
raining for you guys the whole time too?
Not
Or
the
did it
whole
clear up a
time,
little
but
bit?
the second game it started raining.
Oh.
We,
It
was
we ended in
cold.
the third inning. Kids just weren't throwing strikes.
Yeah.
My partner, I won't say, he was just like, this game's over. And the coaches were fine with it. It was freezing. They couldn't
Yeah, it
throw
was
strikes.
bad. It
They were
got
getting
bad.
killed.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
ended the game in the third inning.
Oh, we didn't ask about a mercy rule in beach ball. Now I have to ask about that next time. Or maybe
Oh.
on Saturday. I wonder.
Rob might still be here.
I mean, I can
yeah,
always,
mute him.
but I definitely want to go on
Rob, you still here?
Saturday.
I am.
Yeah,
Oh.
Rob. There we go.
Perfect.
Is there a mercy rule
It's
in
a
beat?
great question. There's a controversial, 12-run rule. Okay, so the way the 12-run rule works is if a team is up by 12 runs at any point in the game at the bottom of the inning, that team, once they finish their at-bat, so they could be 12 runs, 16 runs, 17 runs, whatever it is, once ever they're done with that at-bat, they will stay in the field, and then the other team just continues to bat until they catch up. So to give you an example, let's say my team scores 13 runs in the first inning of a game, okay?
Yep.
And then we get put out or make our 3 out. So we're up 13-0 in the top of the first. We go out on the defense. If the other team, let's say they go down 1-2-3, then they just come up again, and we put them down 1-2-3, and now it's the third inning. They go down 1-2-3, it's the fourth inning, right? Now let's say they have a big fifth inning and they score 12. They tie it up, and then we come back up and we don't lose any of our at bats. Usually, what happens is when this mercy rule thing happens, the majority of the time it happens is when there is an upper level team playing a really lower level team, so they beat the crap out of them, and then they just stay in the field and play defense. I love the rule.
So you could theoretically bat just one inning if.
Yeah, but what it does is it allows a team. A new team, because I was one of these new teams 25 years ago. But I was one of these teams that we weren't very good. So we get an opportunity to say, all right, let's measure ourselves against this great team, and then be like, okay, we're not there yet, right? But we get the opportunity to take defense against a team that can run 5-second bases and hit fly balls. Fly balls are gold in beat baseball, by the way.
Yeah.
And get an opportunity. And then once you're tired of getting your ass kicked in the field, get to do the fun thing, which is hit. So you just hit until the game's over. I love it. Very rarely does a team actually get the catch up, but that does happen, and it usually happens when you're playing on fields that have no grass. So
Gotcha. Well, there we go. Well, thanks.
There's the answer. Thank you.
yeah, welcome. Thank you for asking.
All right, Rob. We'll say goodbye again.
Appreciate everything, guys.
Have a good night. All right, guys. Good
All right, guys.
episode. Good stuff.
Yeah. Until next time.
Yeah, so
Hungry.
tomorrow, as Rudy reminded me, Lou Gehrig Day. And I think next we're gonna try have on Alex Koppelman, who is the producer and director of the 100th Inning, documentary about the 100-inning baseball game, charity game, raising funds for ALS. And hopefully he'll be able to come on next week to talk
That'd be great.
about that in honor of Lou Gehrig Day, which I believe is tomorrow.
D, who's the star of that little documentary?
Star?
Star?
Oh.
Is that,
Yeah, I believe.
I think that was Angie, right? Yeah.
I mean, I was
she's
kind of in it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
It was
still
so
mad
fun.
Gib and I didn't get. Gib took the very first at bat in that documentary, in that charity game. The very first at bat against Daryl.
Yes, I
Did you ever?
Yes, I
Yeah.
did. But I am a very small piece of that charity game. Come on.
That is so cool. I didn't know that.
What everyone else has done? Come on. No way.
I thought you meant in the movie, and I was like, wait, I didn't remember Gib being there for
He,
that.
he actually was.
I think I have a small part.
Yeah,
of it.
he was
But I,
running.
yeah,
Oh,
I
did
went,
you?
I went to the movie premiere. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Man, that was so crazy. Yeah, we had a movie premiere, guys. That's insane.
That was a great night.
Yeah, we can talk
And I
about that.
remember when he said he was gonna do it. We were all, I think, like joking around after a game or something, like a regular game, and we were like, "Okay, Alex," and
Yeah,
phenomenal.
It's a great. Yeah. The documentary is.
Yeah, it just really came out really well. Yeah,
go watch it on Amazon. The 100th inning.
it's on YouTube as well.
You have to buy it though, right? On YouTube as well. No, Amazon. You have to. I thought it was like
Amazon, you do have to buy it. Yeah,
oh,
it's like
but it's. Oh, I didn't know it was on YouTube.
you can stream a good chunk of it on YouTube. Yeah.
Well, if you want to help out Alex's wallet, buy it on Amazon. If you don't, we can watch it on YouTube. We got to see
Fair
the
enough.
extended version.
We got to see like 3 versions of it. Do you remember that? We got the like gonna be edited, and then edited again. And then the one we saw at the theater was completely different than anything we had seen. So we really I was so surprised.
I definitely teared up at a couple points. It's
I still want a blooper reel.
Yeah, blooper reel.
I want
That's
bloopers.
fun.
Could you imagine that game? Bloopers?
That would be fun.
Well, I remember certain good.
I thought he was gonna add us like a supplemental version to the ending or whatever too.
He hasn't yet, but he said he's going to.
Yeah.
But there were
Really?
definitely things where I was like, don't put this on camera. Like I have students and children, but now I'm kind of like, let's see.
When you say that, I mean,
We'll see.
but yeah, hopefully you can come on next week.
That'd be awesome.
But yeah, make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and now Spotify. And we'll see you guys next week. It's been a pleasure,
absolutely.
guys.
Awesome. Always is.
Yes.
Yep.
Good luck in your games this week.
Too guys. Great
Sounds
talking.
good. You
to you.
too.
Yes. Sir.
Remember,
yes,
this
ma'am.
out. They're out. Out.
They're out.
Or this
They're
one,
out.
right? Yeah. Not
I
this
know.
one. Not this one.
That's
That's-
hilarious. That's hilarious. Hey, we've all been there. We've all.
They were
been
really
there.
good.
Yes,
Well,
we
you know what?
have.
They were really good sports about it.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Good
Have a good
stuff.
night.
All right. Good night, guys.
All right.
See you
Bye.
next week.
See you next week.
Yeah.
Bye bye.